Hi, I'm Todd with BlastFab, and today we're going to go over how to visually inspect your blast hoses to make sure that you don't have too much wear and that they're going to function properly on site. So you can see on this one, the aluminum coupling's diameter is the same diameter as the inside hose, so the coupling doesn't overhang at all, and it's actually starting to wear out the gasket too, so the gasket itself is actually a wider diameter as well. The last one, there's no lip between the aluminum and the actual blast hose itself. On this one, there's a little step that you can see of the aluminum coupling going over top of that blast hose like that. That's really what you want to make sure is happening every time, and that gasket is still sealing around that lip. If the aluminum coupling does get worn down to a point where there's no lip for the gasket to sit on, pinholes can form, and you'll actually have abrasive coming out in between the gasket, in between the aluminum coupling, in between the hose, and you'll be able to visually tell that there's abrasive leaking from a spot where it shouldn't. So that's one thing that you also want to watch for. And what can cause that and make that worse is actually the separation that you can see right here between the hose and the aluminum coupling at the bottom. That's just giving the abrasive another point to be able to flow through, and it's going to find the weakest point and just go there. So that's another thing to look for. And you also want to make sure that all of the screws, there's 8 screws in each aluminum coupling. You want to make sure they're seated, they're tight, and they haven't punctured the inside of the hose either. Because if they start to puncture the inside of the hose, again, the abrasive is going to find the path of least resistance, and it's going to start to force itself out of those screw holes. Another way to tell if the hose is getting worn out and should probably be replaced is the rigidity of the hose will actually start to fail. So when you can see I'm bending the hose and it's not actually splitting or it's not actually breaking. But if your hose on a gradual bend is starting to give out like that, that means that the inside diameter is just getting worn down to a point where you really should probably replace that blast hose at some point, because everything that has abrasive flowing through it is going to get worn down, even if it's still the inside of this in the middle of it. It could happen at a turn, it could happen at a pivot point, it can happen anywhere where the abrasive has a hard turn to hit. So another thing is watching for the rigidity of the hose to get more and more floppy so you can tell what you need to replace. That's how to visually inspect your hoses. So if you have any more questions, click the link below and we'll get you to whoever you need to talk to.